Yo, this is straight from the Beak. I'm Benjamin Beak, and this is a lyrical breakdown of my latest track, Hatched, Part 2.
This life is cyclical, the myth and the mystical, spirit and physical, merged and split apart, exchanging their different roles, reversing their principles. Such is the miracle that the end is the start, and this is the new beginning. Give what you've been getting, remember, start forgetting. Be wise, don't be smart. You've lived 1,000 lives, you live 1,000 more, but yet you're still deprived of a reason it's all for.
Feels though in this life, all human beings are kind of stuck between trying to live in the present, but also having a conscious awareness that we're part of something larger, and that although this life is temporary, that we're part of a larger eternity. And in that realization, in that constant awareness, we're called upon to find meaning in this life. And that's often hard to do, and a lot of us kind of go through this existence never figuring that out. And I feel as though a lot of that meaning derives from like these ever-present truths and these knowings that I think that we're endowed with when we're born, and that over our time of life we kind of slowly forget those and exchange our wisdoms for smartness and for skill-based knowledge and logic. And so that part of the verse is kind of shedding to light that there is like a greater wisdom that we're all endowed with, and that it's on us to find our own meaning for existence.
Just a coin in the fishing well, all my coins in the wishing well. Big fish in a small bowl like a prison cell.
There's a mythology around koi fish that they grow as large as their environment allows them to. And I think that humans are similar in that way, and that a lot of us are born into a well which it feels like we're getting fished out from, and that we have so much more potential that isn't tapped into because of the environment that we're brought up in. And a lot of that to me is also the mentality of limitation, and feeling like we'll never get beyond that well or beyond the pond and become the kind of bigger fish.
But none of it's fictional, nothing's original. What can happen will happen, that's not conditional. What can happen did happen, we're not the pinnacle. Mighty from minuscule, but we long for the oneness. We feel too much, so we long for the numbness.
So then I tie the idea of the big fish, kind of from the movie Big Fish, into the idea that nothing is too fantastical to have never happened, and that these lines are kind of an exploration of like Murphy's Law, and that what can happen will happen. And the greater draw from that idea that I make is that before we existed, we may have been in a greater state, and that when you die and before you're born, you may have been part of like a oneness and a universal consciousness, and that it may feel like everything that's happening now is all that ever was and all that you will ever be, but there is something greater, and maybe nothing is original, that nothing's new, and that everything's been done before, but that you're a part of that greatness and all the things that have been done and that will become. So that's kind of just the next stage of this lyrical breakdown that I wanted to do. I'm really excited to get to the next part of the song, and I really appreciate you tapping in. Straight from the Beak, this is Benjamin Beak. Peace.
This life is cyclical, the myth and the mystical, spirit and physical, merged and split apart, exchanging their different roles, reversing their principles. Such is the miracle that the end is the start, and this is the new beginning. Give what you've been getting, remember, start forgetting. Be wise, don't be smart. You've lived 1,000 lives, you live 1,000 more, but yet you're still deprived of a reason it's all for. Just a coin in the fishing well, all my coins in the wishing well. Big fish in a small bowl like a prison cell, but none of it's fictional, nothing's original. What can happen will happen, that's not conditional. What can happen did happen, we're not the pinnacle. Mighty from minuscule, but we long for the oneness. We feel too much, so we long for the numbness. Your world is your wardrobe like Mr. Tumnus.